Hey, so I want to talk about something that I've struggled with in the past, and it was actually a big issue of mine. And I think that if I can help you and you're struggling with a similar issue, then I feel like it will be, just a great thing for everybody. So, and especially knowing that once I realized this thing, I was so much more at peace with myself and with the people around me. So the basic struggle was that I would want to change people because I would see their higher selves. I would see how what their potential, and I would want to change them. I would want to influence them somehow. So, I mean, that's kind of where my YouTube channel came from, where I wanted to help people and become better. But that changed along the way. That was a little different because, I have my YouTube channel. It's now my YouTube channel instead of me dealing with people personally and having that issue come up. So usually the issue stem from personal relationships. So I think one of the issues was with my ex-girlfriend, also with my roommates. Also, it's happened to me with just friends that I coworkers friends that I make. Just people in any relationship. I think that I have high standards for myself, and so that eventually leads to me having higher standards for the people around me, especially for friendships. To be frank, I don't fuck around. I don't like being played with. I don't like to be taken for granted. But that was a big thing in the past. I think now I'm more chill about things, and I think one of the biggest things was I remember I was tripping on mushrooms, and obviously this might have contributed to it, but it showed me this wound that I had, this thing that I carried within me, which was this sadness for my sister, for example. How I just know what she needs to do. I know how she can get out of where she needs to get out of, and I wish that I could just take her with me, and my thing was that I just want to take people with me. I want to become my best self and have my family come alongside with me. I want them to understand me. I want them to not suffer as much, to not fall into temptation, to not fall into their vices, to not lie. And it was very difficult for me, and that was the big wound that I had, and I cried so much because of it. In that moment when I realized it, fuck, I can't save everybody, is what I told myself when I realized, and I want to save them. And now looking back at it, I think that realization kind of contributed to where I'm at now, which is I realized that everybody is where they need to be, but me focusing on the fact that people aren't where they should be, quote unquote, based on my expectations, me looking at that, it just made things worse. And I think this is also from law of attraction, but I think it's also from just understanding the way that influence works. So this realization happened a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, but over time I've developed a great relationship with my sister. I've developed a great relationship with my parents. Now it's not perfect, but I will say that they respect me. My parents respect me as a healer, as an individual who's capable of doing what he sets his mind towards. And my sisters, it's I'm not sure if they respect me so much or if they see me as an authority in that way. I think they just see me as their brother. But either way, I've seen an improvement over time, over the years. And I think this is good news for you who's watching, if you're dealing with family personally. It wasn't until I had to create my boundaries. I had to tell my family, hey, this is what I'm about. I don't want to be dealing with these things, and I'd rather just not show up. like, you don't have to be a part of my life, etc. So I've had to have those tough conversations, because if I didn't, I would just suffer. People want to keep you in their circle. People want to keep you behaving the way they want to do, and it's just a part of change and this evolution. But this video was mainly coming from this situation that I had, where I was making friends with my coworkers, and one of them was an individual that I really recognized. I saw the best of him, but he would always talk down on himself, and later he would share with me that he used to cut himself, and then I ended up being like, okay, let me hang out with him. But the thing is, like, I don't hang out with anybody. I'd go home, I go to my wife, I do my thing, I work on my business. So me hanging out with somebody it's kind of like a big deal. And I don't say that egotistically. It's just I don't just want to hang out and talk and drink. Like, I want to connect deeply. That's the main point. But it ended up being that we hung out, he invited some other people, and then it became just three of us total. And I was just like trying to make conversation with him, and he wasn't budging. He's just like, I don't talk. Like, I don't really talk about myself. I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's the point of me being here then? I didn't say that, but that's how I felt. And so I told myself I'm never going to hang out with him again. But there was also this sadness in my heart where I was like, whoa, like, he's not letting me influence him. He's not letting me talk to him. Like, if I were to talk to him and, like, tell him how I see him and all of this shit, then maybe he'd change. Maybe he'd feel like, not that he'd change, but maybe he'd open up and maybe he'd see himself better. And so I went home and I was like, dude, like, I'm not gonna get through to this guy. And I've faced this same situation before. How can I be in a space where these people are around me and I see the best of them, but they just want to stay in their world, and they just want to bitch or complain or suffer, basically. They don't see themselves, right? And when I realized that, the answer came to me, which was through my work, internal work. I thought about it straight up as meditation. Through my meditation, I raise the frequency of the world, and that's the intention of meditation. At least the type of meditation that I do, which is to facilitate the entering of a new age of bringing the higher self into this world. And so my intention is that to bring my highest self here, to bring in a new age, to become the soul, to be a servant. And so in my meditation, I believe that I do contribute to change. And I felt it because I've been able to see also how the environment changes around me. When I stay long enough in an environment, I have power over it. Like, I influenced the culture of my workplace, and so that led to I feel like people coming in and really enjoying their work. And so I attracted new people into the space, and they were much better and all that. But now and so now I think about it, and I see that through my own influence, my way of being, I naturally raise the frequency of where I am at. And through my meditation, I raise the frequency of the world. And through my intention, I raise the frequency of the world. And so me focusing on the fact that people aren't where I think they could be, that they're not living up to their potential, isn't going to help anybody. And me getting sad at that fact is also not going to help anybody. It's going to make things worse. So that's why I say nobody needs to be saved. Nobody needs to be saved, or at the very least, I save the world through saving myself. And I hope that brings some kind of peace, because I think often we focus on our family or on our friends who aren't there, who aren't living up to their potential. They could be so much better. But understand that when you say that, you're not, you're like making it worse. You're focusing on the wrong things. Just make sure that you take care of your energy, you take care of yourself, you keep your meditations, you keep growing, and you will naturally change the things around you. I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you're interested in knowing more. But that's it for now. Stay lucid. Peace.